Good evening. How's everybody doing? Hold on a sec. Man, that thing right there, let me tell you. Wait a minute, hold up. Almost made me forget what I was going to tell you. But look, I'm going to tell you this story, another edition of Chronicles. And this one here is going to be called, I think I met Jesus Christ in jail. That's right, I met him in jail. So most of y'all know, when I was back in Maryland, my job was, I used to work for the Department of Corrections. Yeah, it was Department of Corrections. So I got called overtime one time, and I decided to take this unit that was an easy unit and had only about 35, 40 people in it. It was like a medical unit sort of thing, right? So I did my head count, walked around everything, let all the inmates out. And then about a half hour later, I noticed that a group of inmates was hovering around this one particular inmate. He was sitting down, so I said, well, let me walk back there, make sure ain't nothing strange going on. So I kind of moseyed on back there and everything. And I noticed this inmate, we're going to call him 1A. He was back there quoting scriptures and everything like this and reading from the Bible and talking to the guys. And the guys looked real, like they was really fascinated, right? And it sounded like what he was talking about was what I knew. I was like, okay, I know a little bit about the Bible, what I knew back then, you know. But so it sounded good. I was, okay, cool. So I went on back up to the desk. Wasn't nothing going on back there. And then one of the inmates, another inmate came up to me. He said, hey, officer, he said, you know we got Jesus Christ amongst us. I said, what do you mean? The spirit is moving in here or something? Because the man back there, he says, no, we're talking about Jesus Christ in the flesh. I said, man, come on now. What y'all talking about now? So he said, no, the dude back there claims to be Jesus Christ. I said, okay, I know this is a good one. I know this is a good one. This fool done came to jail and found Jesus. That's what he's done. So I said, okay. So he came up. It was chow time now. So when he came through during chow time, he gave me his name. And then he said, but you can call me Jesus, right? I laughed. I said, now why would I do that? Because Jesus ain't on my roster. I said, now take your tray and go on, keep moving, man. So he said, when I'm done eating, I'm going to prove it to you. Give me a minute. So he finished eating. He came on up, everything. And he pulled his Bible out. When he pulled the Bible out, he wrote his name down. And then he started quoting scriptures, and he was correlating the scriptures according to the numerical value of each letter in his name. And when he was done, the way he did it so smooth, it made it seem as if something was correct here. So I had to begin to question everything that I knew. I said, now, come on now. I know this ain't right. This guy ain't who he claimed to be. Because, you know, I don't want to be like one of the people in the Bible say, well, if you are who you are, you say you are, then save yourself. You know, they told Jesus that up on the cross or somewhere around there, or when he was walking down there with the cross or something. They told him that. Now, I don't want to be one of them people, you know, but then again, I know better. I know better. So he kind of did some tricks with it. So I said, go on, man, get away from me. I don't want to talk to you no more, right? Because here you got me up here checking myself. So about a little bit later on, I said, hey, come here, man. Do that thing again. So he pulled it out, used some different scriptures. And this time he did the same thing. And it made sense with the way he was doing it, right? So I can't actually believe that I actually started to look at him just a little bit differently. Now, I didn't want to act like I really thought that this guy, you know, might be the one. But I had to give him some props. He made it and set it up so smoothly, right? So he said, when I had that thought again, I said, well, why ain't you save yourself? He said, don't even think like that. Now, I said it to myself. I didn't say it out loud, right? So I said, hey, go on, man. You finish your day out. I'll holler at you some other time, you know. And so he said, well, before the shift's over, I'm going to make sure you're going to believe me, right? So he walked up. It was almost time to lock him in, lock down. And he came up and he slipped me this piece of paper. And this piece of paper, I didn't pay much attention to it. It just had some numbers on it and stuff. And like I said, I didn't pay no attention to it. He gave me that and he said, and then it said, enjoy ye of little faith. I'm like, this dude messing with me again, man. So on my way home, I shut down, locked the unit down and everything. And I'm on my way home. And I decided to stop and get me some gas and get me a Dr. Pepper and stuff. So I go in the store and I'm buying it, right? And I go to reach for my wallet and I got that piece of paper and I'm like, man, these look like lotto numbers or something, right? I said, hey, man, go ahead and put $3 or $4 or $5 on that thing. Box, square it, triple it. I don't know how you do it because I don't never play. I said, go on do that for me, right? So the man ran up some things. I gave him $5 and all this kind of stuff. I came home that night. Now that date was February 25th, 2006. And those numbers was 05, 13, 14, 28, 38, and 40. Put the thing on my dresser, didn't pay it no more attention, right? About a week later, I was right back up in that same unit, right? And so the inmate came up to me and said, hey man, I thought you done quit or retired or something. I'm like, why would I do that? He said, well, I've been asked about you. Ain't nobody say nothing about you. I said, well, what business is what I do any of your business? He said, well, didn't you enjoy the lottery ticket, those lottery numbers that I gave you and stuff? So I'm like, well, I don't know what you're talking about, man. He said, oh, go home and check them out. You'll be a believer now, right? So that night I went back home. I pulled them up on the computer, and lo and behold, it looked like I had won. Those numbers were straight, and I had put $5 on them. Now I'm like, wait a minute now, how did this happen? Something can't be right. Something can't be right. So, like I said, I checked my ticket and stuff. So I know some of y'all not going to believe this, but let me put it to you like this. I retired from the Department of Corrections at the age of 47. Now, I made some investments and saved my money and did some other things, but that's a pretty young age to retire. And then I moved to Florida right after that. So, funny thing is though, after this incident with this inmate, I heard something about he was in the medical ward and he had third-degree burns on his hands. So what he did was the other inmates challenged him to say if he was Jesus Christ, then let him put his hand under that hot scalding water that they use to make for coffee. And this guy did that, and it burnt the skin right off of his hand almost down to the bone. So he had third-degree burns. So after that, they had to lower the temperature of the coffee maker. They couldn't even go above 120 of that. So he burnt up pretty good. So the question remains, if he gave me those numbers and they panned out, who was he really? I'm gonna leave that up for you to decide. Telling you something about this. Hey, y'all take care. God bless you.